Today I want to show you how to register Connect and then also how to port Connect over to a different PC. So in the event that you need to move your Connect software to a different PC, or if you're just looking to set up a satellite and be able to sync to more than one PC, we will show you the best way to do that. So first, in order to register your software, you're going to go to Tools, Registration, and then I'm currently registered, but if I wasn't, so if I were to cut this, you'll see it's not registered. I'm in trial mode, which if you are in trial mode, it does limit you to syncing 5 records of data at a time. But if I go to registration, so the easiest way to register is to take your redeem code that you should have received in an email when you placed your order. You would enter it to this field and then press this key icon, which will then reach out over the web to our servers, validate that that redeem code is valid and that it's actually open, and then supply a registration code to the field and actually register it for you. So I'm just going to put my code back in. You'll see based on the number of pack you ordered of Connect, it will show a list of available seats or a license count along with available seats. Here I have a 25 pack, so it has a license count of 25, and it shows that I only have 9 available. So there's a few ways to actually get devices added to this list, as not only is a device needs to be registered, it also needs to be licensed or allowed to sync with Connect, and that's done here. So as long as you have this auto register new device on first sync, this will allow devices, as they sync with Connect, it'll auto add them to this list, and they will now be licensed to be used with Connect. So we also find that some users don't want to do that. They may be just testing a device to see if it works, and that may not actually be the device they're using. So what you could do in that case is uncheck the auto register, and then if you did want a device to be registered, you can actually add its device ID here manually, and then click Issue, and it will add it to this list of allowed devices. We do recommend auto whenever possible, as you can end up with a typo when entering that device ID, as it has to be entered exactly as shown on the device. If it's uppercase, it has to be uppercase. And then you'll see devices that are licensed or open. If you did happen to license a device by mistake, you can right-click a device and click Retire. That will remove it from this license, and it'll free up an available slot for another device. But keep in mind, you will be warned, it is a permanent retire, so you can't unretire a device once it's retired. So be cautious when you are retiring a device that you are doing the correct one. So that's how you would register Connect. Now, a lot of common things that people do is set up satellite instances. So when you purchase Connect, depending on the number of licenses that you get, you're going to be issued a primary and then a bunch of satellite redeem codes. So the primary is the only one that can actually manage this licensing. So you'd probably want to put this on your main PC or server that you would actually want to manage this from. That will be the only PC that can issue licenses to devices. As a satellite does not have that capability, you can only register it. And in that case, you would need to come to the Import-Export. Once you've set up the primary with all of your devices, you want to export this license file. It's a TCL, so we'll call it device, oh, got my caps lock on there, device reg. And then I'll save it to my desktop. And then when you come to a satellite, you would simply have instead of an export button, you would actually have an import button here where you can then import that TCL file. And now the satellite will also be authorized to sync with these devices that were in that exported list. So that's how you would get all devices to be able to sync to other satellites as well as your primary. So the next thing I want to show you is the best way to actually port a project over to a different PC. So this may be just because you're setting up a satellite and you want the same settings, or you may be moving a primary from one PC to another. In the event you're moving a primary, you will need to email us your old PC ID along with the new PC ID and then the reason for moving, and then we can issue a new primary code for that different PC. So the best way to ensure a smooth transition from one PC to another is to make sure that everything is set up exactly the same. So that means that you're not going to want to store things in a users folder or a My Documents folder. So if you're associating a desktop project with your Connect project, you don't want that desktop project residing in the default My Documents location. You're going to want to save that project to some folder, probably at the root of your C drive. Something that would be duplicated across all PCs and can have this same location. So if we look at this particular project here, currently you'll see that it's saved to my Documents folder. So the first thing you'd want to do before actually even associating a desktop project with Connect is actually save it to your C drive. If I click this folder, I go to this PC, go to C, and I typically like to create a TracerPlus desktop folder, and then I even have a projects, and then hit OK. Then I hit save. Now I have this deliver goods project in this particular location. So if I open Windows Explorer and go to that location, deliver goods. So now I can actually take this folder and copy it to maybe a thumb drive or a map drive. And then on my next PC, I can copy it to the very exact same location on that other PC. You may even want to take it from the TracerPlus desktop level. If you don't have a bunch of projects like me, you just copy this entire TracerPlus desktop folder from the root of C to the same location on the other PC. So that will ensure that when you import the Connect project, it's looking for the same project and location, so you shouldn't have any issues with that. The next thing you want to make sure is intact is your destination or source, whatever the other option aside from TracerPlus, whether you're going to Excel or ODBC or text, you want to make sure that's set up exactly the same on this other machine. So if you're doing text or Excel, that's going to point to a location. So once again, you would want that data to reside at the root of the C or in some folder at the level of C. Something that can be replicated across multiple PCs easy. So maybe like a C, TracerPlus data, or something like that. You can place your Excel file or your text file in those folders. For ODBC, you want to make sure that a data source is set up exactly the same. So if I open my Windows data sources, so in this case, I have my case, it was a TracerPlus Connect sample for this project. So you want to make sure that this exact same DSN is set up on the other PC, pointing to the same database. Make sure it has all the same table names and field names. And that is also a system DSN in this case, so you'd want to set it up as a system DSN. So that would ensure that both the source and the destination are set up to be portable and move across multiple PCs as long as you copy everything that needs to be on that PC before importing your Connect project. To actually get your project over, You would want to go to your master, go to File, Export, and that's going to create this TCE file. So we save that, get that over to the other PC, then we would do a file import. If a project was currently open, you can close the current project. We look for this deliver TCE. There it is. And then that will import exactly as I have here. So as long as everything is white, you don't see any red in any of these mappings, it means that everything has imported correctly, and you've successfully ported over Connect from one PC to the next. I do want to show a good article to reference on this. If you go to our website and go to our knowledge base, and if you type in Migrate, you see here finds migrating a TracerPlus Connect installation to another PC server. This would be your best resource to kind of guide you through setting up so that you best migrate this. So once again, it's sort of talking about what I just went over, exporting your Connect project, making sure your data sources are in line. If you're linking to TracerPlus desktop project, it talks about linking it to a C drive. And then it also talks about registration. So that's what I wanted to talk about in regards to migrating Connect to a different PC as well as Connect registration.